You're listening to KEXP at 90.3 FM in Seattle. You can find us online around the world at KEXP.org. And we've got a wandering troubadour in studio today. Our good friend Grantley Phillips is here today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
We were just talking about how long it's been since we've seen you. We enjoy your music on a fairly regular basis.
I suppose so, yeah.
You've released albums on a pretty regular clip. Which
yeah, that's right, yeah. We got together back when I had Little Moon coming out, right?
Exactly.
That must have been like about 10 years ago. No, it would have been about 8 years ago.
I actually wrote down the last time you were here. And we had you in 2010, and then, of course, in 2011, Grantley Buffalo played at Bumbershoot, so that was fun to have a reunion. But your beautiful voice and a gorgeous new album called The Narrows, and you're going to play songs from that today.
I am, yeah. I'm going to play you a few songs.
All right.
From this new one.
Grantley Phillips, live on KEXP.
Keeping score. Your blonde-haired boys are scattered along these hills, picked clean like cotton in a rich man's war. Lay down your holy eyes, lay down your guns and shining bayonets. Lay down your holy eyes. It's gonna be a job to raise the dead. Got no mansion on the yonder mount, no plantation pillars all in white. Just a southern boy behind a plow, swept up like nothing in a poor man's fight. Lay down your holy eyes, lay down your guns and shine bayonets. Lay down holy eyes. It's gonna be a job to raise the dead. Farewell, Cordelia, let me hold you close, so I can remember how it feels. And if a bullet brings me down before I make it home, you know that I'll be dreaming of you still. Yes, I will. Little soldiers all in blue and gray, every one of us a bleeding red. And when that broken body falls away, we'll all lay down in the same earthen bed. Lay down your holy eyes, lay down your guns and shine bayonets. Lay down your holy eyes. It's gonna be a job to raise the dead. Lay down your holy eyes. Lay down your guns and shining bayonets. The broken-hearted his hands. It's gonna will be a job to raise the dead. These bones give way, gonna call my name and I will depart. And come that day, won't be afraid. I'll rise from the flames like smoke and sparks, like smoke. Sparks out of this earthly heart, yonder I'll fly. Like smoke and sparks. No more tears, we'll wait of years, we'll disappear on the day I embark. Like a chimney swift who soars and darts, my soul will be lifted like smoke and sparks. Like smoke and sparks out of this earthly heart, yonder I'll fly. Like smoke and sparks. It's not goodbye, this urge to fly, as I take to the sky with a song in my heart. Like smoke and sparks out of this earthly heart, yonder I'll fly. Like smoke and sparks, yonder I'll fly. Like smoke and sparks, yonder I'll fly. Like smoke and sparks. Oh no.
Oh, so beautiful.
Thank you.
Grantley Phillips live on KEXP, that golden honey-soaked voice. I love it. I'm not the only one.
Oh, well, thank you. So nice to see. We have a nice crowd here with us.
We do. We love our new home. Lets the public come in and get a little glimpse behind the scenes of us making live radio.
I love that. Behind the glass.
That's exactly
I feel a bit like a gar. I should be just slowly moving through the mud.
We do have a fish ladder here in Seattle where people can see the salmon going upstream behind glass, and that is a little bit what this is like.
Yeah.
You're spawning. Is that right?
Spawning, yes. Yeah. Is it spawning season?
I'm not sure, but that seems like something you'd write a song about.
Seems like something ought to be built into your iPhone calendar.
It's true.
Oh, it's spawning season, I guess today.
You're a consummate storyteller, and this new album is so beautiful. It is just rife with great stories. And I read that you sort of pivoted between personal and historical stories in this record. That last song was very personal, it sounds like.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about the new record?
Sure. Yeah, I think there are a number of songs where I am drawing upon, whatever's going on in my life. But for instance, the song Smoke and Sparks, it's a song that I wrote. I began to write it as my dad's health was failing, and I finished it off in the last hours of his life. And so it's a bit of a tribute in that way, completely. And then there are songs where I, by way of my own ancestry, have discovered, there are stories to be told in song. For instance, there's one called Cry, Cry. And it's a song where I'm basically touching upon the Trail of Tears, the removal of so many tribes in the Southeast in the 1800s, the 1830s. And it's something that I've been compelled to know more about, but it's not something that readily is taught, and maybe something that we should teach ourselves about,
You began to touch on that in your last album. And
I did, right.
I'm curious, obviously your Native American ancestry has been a part of your life your entire life, but it's something you seem to be ruminating on. I'm wondering, you have a child now. You've recently made a big move across country about 3 years ago.
True.
Were those catalysts for that?
Yeah, it felt like I was being drawn to Tennessee. I was born in California and in the Central Valley, very rural place. But I was always drawn by the music that I associated with Nashville, especially the old country stuff that my parents listened to, the Johnny Cashes and all of those folks, from that whole period. But I was also drawn to understand the history of the place, from the Civil War history to the Trail of Tears, which also winds its path through Tennessee. So all of those things were sort of like a magnet, and wanting to be out in a place where I felt like, my 8-year-old daughter could grow up among the bushes and the weeds and all that stuff that I loved growing up around,
A lot of people associate you with Los Angeles, where you spent the majority of your adult life, but I know you're from a small town, and so I imagine you feel sort of like home. I'm wondering if it's been a good fit. It's been 3 years now.
Yeah, it has been a good fit, and I found that right balance where I can get enough of my small town needs satisfied. I really do love that. I travel so much, and I have that good fortune of being in so many big cities. But boy, when I get home, and I really need the solitude to kind of refuel and put my ear to the ground, and that's where my songs come from. When I lived in LA, the first number of years I lived in the high desert, and that was sort of satisfying in that way. I could get up on a big warm rock like a lizard and look down, at this city, Los Angeles, with its little lights twinkling, and it's kind of a majestic scene when you look at it from that angle. Then you get in the middle of it, and it kind of swallows you up.
You do travel a lot. Tonight you're playing at the Triple Door here in Seattle, and you can play with a band. You do such an amazing show by yourself. And moving to Nashville, I know you worked on the record with some other musicians, and there's no lack of great musicians in Nashville. I'm curious how you sort of stepped into that realm.
Well, I had one fella that I really knew. He was a drummer named Jerry Rowe. His grandpa was Jerry Reed.
Ooh, the guitarist.
The wild, the wild man who played the guitar like no one else and was in all those Smokey and the Bandit movies. And Jerry's such an incredible drummer, and was basically, kind enough to say, if you want to come to Nashville and make a record, then I'll help you put it together, help you, find the right musicians and all that kind of stuff. And but you don't want to move here, you don't want to live there. And so I basically showed up in Nashville one day, and I said, well, I'd like to make that record. And about that other part of your advice, I kind of ignored it, but here I am. And he indeed came through and helped me, introduced me to the fellas who made this record with me.
And I understand that you recorded it at Dan Auerbach's studio, and I know he's got a lot of great vintage acoustic instruments, which complements your sound perfectly. Were you just like turning around and grabbing something?
Sort of. I mean, I always bring, a couple of my mainstay guitars, but there were old amplifiers, a lot of great old microphones that I haven't seen, since, like, wow, that's like one of those microphones they have on Hee Haw, isn't it?
I've heard that some of them are museum quality.
That's a Gene Rayburn hand mic, long pencil-y thing. I was knocked out by all of that. And just the mojo that comes with all that old gear that kind of sizzles and pops. And, I love that. And we did it fast. I think that's also the key. Work fast, go with the inspiration and don't overthink it, I can certainly overthink things.
I was just looking at the list of songs you're going to play, and you are going to play Cry Cry. Is that a marimba that I hear?
It is, and that's one of those things where I was like, I think it needs something a little extra percussive, and Jerry just walked over to the marimba and says, well, what about this? Great, let's do it,
Well, it's a fantastic album. It's called The Narrows and just came out last month. Tonight you're going to be playing at the Triple Door, tomorrow at the Doug Fir in Portland. And what do you got coming for us next? I'm
going to play the song in which the title comes from, The Narrows. The Narrows is a little stream, a little creek, body of water that runs through this part of Arkansas where my dad was born. And I wrote this song with that in mind, the idea of going back and visiting some kind of sacred space, one of those kind of places that we can all kind of go to, like a bedrock, whether it's a real place or just that place that we imagine, that's what it is, This is Moccasin Creek.
Way back in the holler, heading off in. I wanna go back there to the home of my kin, where there's an old rock house on a mountain so steep. And one of these days I'm gonna dip my feet in Moccasin Creek, go down to the Narrows where the water picks up. Might find a few arrowheads down in the mud. Grandpa was around here, buried him deep. No headstone, just dropped his bones by Moccasin Creek. Way back in the Ozarks, off in the hills, I wanna go back there, I surely will. Pick the first wildwood flower I see. One of these days I'm gonna dip my feet in Moccasin Creek. One of these days I'm gonna dip my feet in Moccasin Creek. One of these days I'm gonna dip my feet in Moccasin Creek.
Oh, that was lovely. We're live in the KEXP studios with Grantley Phillips. Tonight he's playing at the Triple Door here in Seattle.
Yeah. This is called Cry Cry.
In the winter when the streams are frozen, in the winter when the birds don't sing, that's when I lost my home, when I lost everything. Kept a walking till my feet were bloody, left everything we knew. When they took us across the Mississippi, nothing that I could do. Cry, 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 oh, cry, cry. Keep a pushing on into the ocean, dancing like a man in chains, till you wind up where the salt is hard, here where you lose your name. Same people say that I was godless, same people show me how to pray, same people with a pen or rifle, same people took it all away. Cry, 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 oh, cry, cry. More mile and one more night, 1,000 lives won't make it right. Cry, cry. Lives won't make it right. In the winter when the streams are frozen, in the winter when the birds don't sing, that's when I lost my home, when I lost everything. Cry, 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 oh, cry, 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 oh, cry, cry, cry.
I love it. Grantley Phillips live on KEXP, The Narrows, the new album on Yep Rock Records, came out in March, and tonight you can hear songs at the Triple Door.
That's right. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. You've got a tune to KEXP Seattle. Oh, that went too quickly. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.